Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the cosmic troubadour of Southern Soul, King Corduroy.
You just tuned in to King Corduroy Presents, and today's guest is my good buddy Kevin Scott, a versatile modern bassist known for his ability to thrive both in structured studio settings and free-form improvisation. Originally from Dothan, Alabama, he was inspired by Colonel Bruce Hampton to move to Atlanta, Georgia, where he became a key figure in their music scene. Making his way from New York City to New Orleans, he's worked with an incredible roster of artists, including Jimmy Herring, Wayne Krantz, Donnie McCaslin, John McLaughlin, and Bernard Pretty Purdy. His passion for improvisation is evident in his long-standing Atlanta jam sessions and his work with Wednesday Night Titans, a multimedia duo with drummer Zach Danziger. In 2023, Kevin joined Govt Mule, bringing his dynamic energy to their live performances and studio recordings. Now based in Nashville, he continues to push the boundaries of jazz, rock, fusion, and experimental music, cementing himself as one of the most sought-after bass players in the world. Today is the first part in a two-part interview, and I know you're going to love it. So many great stories. I wanted to let you know this episode is brought to you with support from Nashville Custom Hats. They provide fully customized hats with unlimited options. Check out NashvilleCustomHats.com for more info. And y'all enjoy this episode. I know I did. Kevin Scott, pleasure to have you on, buddy.
Very happy to be here finally.
Yeah, we made it happen, huh?
Yes, we did. Through thick and thin.
Through thick and thin, yeah. Well, you've been on the road a lot, so that's great.
Yep.
And therefore, we moved our times. But this has given me enough time to fully prepare. I'm ready for this.
Which I'm very excited because a lot of times people don't fully prepare and ask you to get on their stuff, and it's a little strange.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you kind of made the podcast rounds. So I had some stuff to delve into there, and I read a bunch of different articles and checked out your website, and I've been to a bunch of your shows now that you've invited me to.
And you didn't leave. That means you're either a sick person or bored.
Okay, so we met probably in like 2017 or 2018, something like that, through Billy Gant.
Yep.
Who I know from gigging back in Tuscaloosa, like, that would have been, so like I graduated high school in like 01, you know, so that
I was 03.
I knew we were like right about the same age. And then we were literally playing the same spots, which is crazy. There's so many synchronicities in our stories. And I don't want to like drag you through your whole chronology, but I know about your early life, so maybe there's a couple things we could touch on there.
Sure.
So like I know that you're from a very musical family.
Yes.
And that's what led you into gigging. Basically, you were gigging in bars about like, what, 14?
Yes. So yeah, my stepdad, who is, I consider my real dad, David Atkins, he is an incredible multi-instrumentalist that, I was lucky enough to grow up around him. So I guess, my background is my uncle was a session sax player, Jay Scott. His big claim to fame was he played the sax solo on I Love the Nightlife by Alicia Bridges. That was him.
Oh, disco, yeah.
Yeah, the last disco hit.
That was
Alicia Bridges was actually a country artist. They converted over. And he did hundreds of sessions, and then David did, and my other uncle, John Rainey Atkins, was guitar player that played with like Roy Orbison.
Really?
He was there. His Roy's original band was the Candymen, which was my uncle John Rainey, and then eventually John Rainey and my dad David had a band called Beaver Teeth that was signed to RCA.
I read about that band.
Yeah, and they were two Beatles for Southern rock fans and two Southern rocks for Beatles fans. It was a very cool sound they had going. It was very melodic, very 70s. But had a lot going on. But yeah, so when I started playing bass around 10, it's because it wasn't because of my cool musical family. It's because of film and TV. Like most kids, I think, of our generation would have got into it. And I heard Green Onions by Booker T in the movie The Sandlot. Mm-hmm. And it freaked me out, and I asked my mom what that sound was, that low sound. She goes, well, that's a bass. And that's what my grandfather played, J. Paul Scott. And he played with Ella Fitzgerald and
saw that. That's
Mel
incredible.
Torme and all this stuff.
Mel Torme, that's right, yeah.
And so she was actually, they were really she was extremely happy I wanted to start playing. And she somehow found this Epiphone bass that was like a short scale somehow, like very lucky, like magical. But back then she found she didn't even know what she was buying, but she bought this short scale Epiphone student model from a pawn shop for like $50. And like most 10-year-olds, I was still obsessed with sports and playing football and basketball and watching pro wrestling and all this. So I learned Green Onions and the Tighten Up because my mom got me this Atlantic Soul CD.
Cool.
Which, looking back, Atlantic Soul was the same thing as Memphis.
Yeah.
I later in my years learned it was the same thing. But
Jerry Wexler made the connection, yeah.
Exactly. Well,
and he ripped off.
Yeah, he bought. Yeah.
Yeah.
He ripped off everything. But
it's that whole story. I love the. It's a shame, dude. But yeah, the Respect Yourself documentary about Stax, and there's also the House That Amit Built, the documentary about Atlantic. But Respect Yourself really tells that story that basically that Jerry stole all of Stax's master recordings when he negotiated a distribution contract, and so when they left Atlantic, they lost everything. They had no music that they could actually sell, and then Otis Redding, their biggest star, died. That's basically
It's pretty crazy.
It's insane, right?
Memphis, man.
Yeah, Memphis, and he would have done it on a handshake. He didn't even need that's what Steve Cropper says in the documentary.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a heavy documentary. I definitely shed some tears watching that one.
Yeah, and if you tour the Stax Museum, they play like the first 30 minutes of it at the beginning of the tour. People need to go to that museum. It's so cool.
Yeah, I took care of there a few months ago, actually. We had a blast.
Yeah, like so much merch, right?
It's amazing.
So much cool merch. Yeah, I've had some, and you'll get compliments everywhere you go with that merch. And they have a school there.
Yeah,
it's all good stuff to talk about.
Yep.
I just met a horn player this weekend that said he went to the school there. I'm on their email list. They have a concert series where they put bands together and put on concerts to raise money. That's all right there on Macklemore Avenue. Yeah,
that's so cool,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But
sorry, we just went on a side.
So, there's gonna be plenty of those with us, I'm sure. But yeah, I got into music, and then I fell out of it because I really in my head thought, well, I just figured out these songs, so I don't need to do anything else. I've already figured the instrument out. And that's what I thought. And I never forget these. I was having a birthday party, and all the kids were over. They're like, "Oh, come play your guitar." And I was like, "Oh shit! I don't know how to play this thing really." But I remember still doing improvised solo bass set at age 11 or 10, and not just to. I mean, in my mind, it's probably I don't really remember. I kind of remember what I played, but it's probably the greatest thing I'll ever play to this day. I mean, there are the most, the most pure thing I probably ever played.
Yeah, I remember having that feeling as developing with my instrument, and somebody I remember my dad one time being like, "Hey, let's hear something on that thing," and being like, "I think I just ran out of things to say."
Yeah, it's pure. And that's what it's kind of what you're always trying to go back to. But so then I for my 12th, when I was 12, I got serious, and David was, my mom married David when I was 10. So he was real supportive, and I got this. I saw that. Well, actually, I haven't really talked this in other podcasts because I always forget. But there was an episode of that show Pete and Pete that they started a garage band.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa! I need to get back into music. over this episode of Pete and Pete. And then about the same time, I saw the Blues Brothers for the first time. And
the
that
Stax
was it.
fan.
That was it. I mean, that was, but again, it was Duck Dunn.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
Steve Cropper
and
and Booker T.
So the Memphis connection for me is insane. Looking back, it was like Memphis music is why I started playing.
Yeah, man.
So then, I remember one day I was 14 and my dad was like, come, play with this band called Dear Abby that I'm doing. And it was a bluegrass cover band with some local cats, but there's no drummer. And we're doing all these covers.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I developed my sense of time, was not having drummers.
Yeah.
So I did that around bars. Dear Abby played, and we played. I'd make money, and but by that time, when I was 15, 16, I was already a staple in downtown Dothan, Alabama, where I'm from, and people thought I was 25 because I had a beard and long hair, and I was a regular at these bars, and they didn't card me.
Yeah.
So I was living this crazy double life of drinking and being an adult, and then going to my high school the next morning,
Wow.
for a long time. So yeah, I started this shit way early,
It truly shows, man. Not only in your playing and your professionalism, but in your prowess. But you are like the hardest working bass player in show business. I think you were playing like every night, dude, and so many different. The largest stages that you could possibly play on. And then like last night I saw you at the Underdog, which is filled with, there's this whole scene of brilliant musicians that have been drawn to that club, but the capacity of that room's maybe like 50 or 60 people.
And and that's the thing, is I've always, I don't look at it, I've never looked at this as work.
Yeah.
So, my amazing wife, Kara Kirkland, has to put up with me always constantly, but she's so supportive of it. But it's definitely, I wouldn't say an obsession, but more of like a lifeline, because of just that we're talking about, that chase for the sonic purity.
Yeah.
That sometimes rains on you and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just always going back to that my room, my little music room. I'm 11, playing in front of my high school friends. I'm not high school, but elementary school friends. But so yeah, I think it just every gig I'm trying to go back to that.
Yeah, man. Well, so there's like this whole avenue to go down with you, but I think like overall, when I think about you, is that you are you're like funk, jazz, fusion, but anything but metal. You have this metal influence, but you are carrying the torch of improvisational music, in particular a torch that I feel was handed to you by Colonel Bruce Hampton.
Yeah, I mean, that's, if you want to go on with Bruce now.
Yeah, I don't know how soon we want to jump into that. I didn't want to get right to it, but I feel like we're dancing on it, and I feel like the childhood thing you're talking about is like the Bruce kind of thing, Well,
it's weird, because my uncle Jay and David, I mean, they're these, my whole family are eccentric, kind of like outlaw thought people.
Yeah.
I mean, my story of my family is, essentially my aunt and my uncle and my mom and my grandmother and my grandfather, they grew up in the Virgin Islands in the 60s. So, and my grandfather, when he quit playing full time, he went to World War II, became a bomber pilot, and then became an air traffic controlman.
Wow.
So he designed the airport at the Virgin Islands. And what's crazy is, I was telling this to my buddy the other day, was how that generation of people didn't go to school. They just figured the shit out. I mean, he was from, my own grandpa was from Cedartown, Georgia, which is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's like, I was there a few years ago filming a movie, and the reason why they chose the movie, because it looks like it's from 1960 still.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's like they were, they moved to Dothan, Alabama in the 60s from the Virgin Islands, and people thought my family were aliens. I mean, the heavily, I mean, it's that whole, early '60s Alabama bullshit. The segregation and all these people are weirdos and hippies and all this stuff. So, I kind of grew up in this eccentric family with, like my uncle was basically a shit-starting comedian, and my dad, David, was always up in some kind of trouble,
Yeah.
So the Bruce thing made total sense. I mean, it was, Colonel, in case people don't know who Bruce Hampton was, he was a Southern mystic, basically. I mean, he was a band leader, he was a prophet, he was a mystic, he was a psychic.
Yeah.
He was like Kara, my wife, called him a time traveler, which I think is hilarious because it makes sense. But but Bruce had a way of finding young musicians and kind of implicating the ways of the world to us, and how I discovered him was by sheer magic. I was buying vinyl from a flea market, and at the time I was getting into kind of eccentric improv, from Hour to Hour to Later Train, and then Zappa, and all this weird, cool stuff. It was like my era. I was 16 of like getting into this really heavy stuff and not realizing how heavy it was. I was drawn to it, and the guy selling vinyl was like this 3-foot tall dude with a huge mustache that went down to here. We could just call him Stash, and he said, "I have every vinyl in the world in a warehouse. If you give me a list, I'll find it." So I gave him a list. He didn't have all of it, but he threw in this record, and it had this weird guy with like a Beatles jacket on holding a guitar, and then this other guy with like a powdered wig with huge glasses. He's like, not a wig, but like everything was white powdered. It was weird. And it would say the Colonel Bruce Hampton, Late Bronze Age. And the back of the cover had a fireman with a hose. It was strange. So I listened,
Outside looking out.
yes,
Yeah.
and I put it on and went, oh my God, this really speaks to me.
Yeah.
Because it took all these elements of Zappa and Southern music and rolled on the one. Anyway, didn't think anything of it. I said, oh, Atlanta, Georgia. At the time, I grew up in a small town or smallish town, and the move, as everybody thinks, is you move to L.A., you move to New York, you move to Nashville. Those are your three options if you want to make it, But I saw it said Atlanta, and I knew that my dad and my uncle lived together in Atlanta in the 70s, and my mom lived there, so I had some history in Atlanta, and actually my uncle and my mom wasn't born yet, but my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother, and my grandfather, they all lived in East Point in the 50s.
Okay.
So I have history there.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But you don't know anything better because you think the only music happening is those three cities. You
Yep.
know? So I really want to go to the new school of music, and I was all this stuff, but then when I discovered the Bruce thing, it was like Atlanta. So the local bar I used to play at called Moon Times, which is
It was a Widespread Panic bar.
Widespread Panic Bar.
Oh my God! And you.
And this guy Sammy Norris, who's the bartender, who I have to credit him for a lot in my life because at the time, being a young, egotistical jerk, young musician, I was only into extreme metal, extreme art, improv, experimental music, and everything else was bullshit. Besides, funk and R&B and stuff. I hated jam bands.
Yeah.
I had a sticker in my car that says "Jerry's dead, Fish sucks, get a job."
I remember those.
And here I am hanging out in this jam band bar, and Sammy one day was like, "Go through my CD booklet and pick out a CD." Now this is after I discovered Bruce. This is a week after that, or 2 weeks. I'm going through the CD booklet, like, okay, Stockholm Syndrome, that sounds cool. Bloodkin, I picked those out. And then I saw a CD with this kind of yellowish CD with this guy doing this with a mustache. And I was like, so I grabbed it. It was a Aquarium Rescue Unit.
Wow.
And that was the big one. Hearing that ensemble of guys live is the first record. it changed everything for me because it was always elements of all this different kinds of music in one, and it was just honest, I guess, So that's where the Bruce thing started, and at that moment, I said I have to play with Bruce. I was his disciple at that moment.
I love that, and yeah, so that is the yeah. I feel like there's a key there to that journey that set you on a certain path, and then all these synchronicities started occurring that led you further that way. So okay, so then we have, like I said, we have some synchronicities in the scene because I'm from Alabama, you know that, and
Yep.
And so you wound up in Highly Kind. You were 16. You were gigging in Mobile. Is that right?
No, it's crazier. It's crazier than that.
Okay.
So Moon Times would book regional and national acts.
Okay.
Every day of the week. This is 2000. 2001.
2000, 2001. Okay, yeah.
That was the era. So one day I'm at the bar, drinking a tall boy, and this guy comes in with this really long beard with a braid, wearing this.
Oh yeah.
Basically wearing this way too large white tee, like he got from a truck stop or something. And he proceeded to play this record that was on the CD player in the bar. He insisted on it. This guy was like, "You have to play this while I'm setting up." And it was Live at the Greek, but it was Stanley Clarke, Larry Carlton, Najee, Billy Cobham, and they played this version of Stratus. And it blew my mind. I was like, "Who's this guy? How does he know about this?" And he did his solo acoustic set, blah, blah, blah. We connected.
What? So that was around 2000?
Yeah.
And you were a jazz guy because you were into Jocko, right? Around that age?
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, really what got me heavy in the improvised music was Emil Wurzler. And Emil is my best buddy, and we grew up together. But he lives in Nashville, and he's one of the most incredible guitar players of our generation. And he's from Dothan.
Oh, really?
But he showed me Sean Lane, another Memphis native, Temporal's Analogs of Paradise, which is an all improv record with Jeff Sipe.
Oh, yeah, it's just two movements.
Yep.
Yeah. I checked that out because I read about it. You talked about it.
And that was another thing. Sipe was Apartment Q258, which was Bruce's drummer. So anyway, this is...
But I feel like I hear Fork. I feel like that project influenced Fork when I listened to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll talk about Fork later.
We'll get there.
We'll
get there.
But, so anyway, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I'm graduating high school. I tried to go to community college, and it was a disaster. It's like, it was not meant for me. The fucking community college was George Wallace Community College.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Oof, demagogue.
Yeah. So it's already a big loss, big lose there.
Yeah, golly.
And so, my parents were like, you got to get a gig or go to college. That's the options because you don't want to stay here. Now, at the time, I was gigging and I was working a T-shirt printing place. And this other big influence in my life was this guy named Mike Snell, we used to call Metal Mike. And he worked at Liverpool Records, and he got me my job at the T-shirt printing place. But he was like a walking encyclopedia of all things metal, and guitar players. He was a guitar player. So anyway, I start opening up for all these bands coming in through who are regional and national acts. And this one band came through, and I don't ever talk about them or even print their name because of how bad of people they are. But I opened for them, and they convinced me to move to Atlanta, which wasn't a whole lot of convincing. I was like, oh shit, that's where Colonel Bruce is.
Yeah. So
I joined this national touring jam band. My parents moved me up to Roswell, Georgia. That's where they told me to go. And I'm doing like the weekend circuit with this band and living in Atlanta. Now, the singer for this band ran a jam on Monday nights at the Brandy House. And I knew the Brandy House because that's where I thought Colonel Bruce lived. In my mind. So here I am, so excited that he's giving me my first gig, all improv jam. Ties into all improv again.
Yep.
From the beginning. Now I'm playing every Monday, playing improvised music at this club that Bruce kind of made famous, expecting just Bruce to pop up any time, which he never did. But eventually I quit that band. I was also working at Starbucks at the time for a very long time.
Wait, what year would this have been?
This is 2004.
2004, okay.
Wait,
but so is there a moment before that when you studied with Johnny Vidacovich?
Okay, so yeah, wow.
Tell me, yeah.
That was a great...
I don't want to miss that.
Okay, yeah, thanks for reminding me. So
yeah.
When I was 15, I won a scholarship to Loyola Jazz Camp.
Oh, okay, yes.
And my other best buddy, Tony Shapiro, was a sax player at school, and he was like, well, we'll both go. So Tony drove, and we went to New Orleans. And I was 15, and I didn't know anything about Johnny V. Or the only New Orleans music I knew was Dr. John.
Yeah.
And like Louis Armstrong or something. I didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks before we went to this camp, I heard the Meters for the first time. And completely tripped me out. Like, whoa, who is this?
It's a special moment.
It was a huge moment.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to this place where all this came from. So
the only place.
The only place.
Yeah.
You know. And so I'm so excited. I'm like giddier than I've ever been because I'm like, I'm going to go meet kids my own age that are like serious about this too. And I show up and I had hair down on my ass and wearing Cannibal Corpse shirts and cargo shorts with Converse. You know, I was like trying to look like Dimebag Darrell or something. You know?
Yeah. So at that point, did you consider yourself a metalhead or a jazz guy?
I was just I was a musician. I listened to everything.
And that's what's great about you. You didn't consider yourself in a box even at that age.
No, and I looked like a metalhead because I was adolescent and like that was like the muchacho. Like I was like, that's a cool, you know. I mean, dude.
Counterculture.
Yeah, exactly. And
that's important.
And I watched the Pantera home videos in 8th grade. It changed my life. I mean, I thought that was reality. I thought if you got in a band, you would be destroying dressing rooms and doing drugs and hanging out with strippers every night. You know, and touring the world. And you know, and there's elements of all of that, but not as extreme as they were doing.
Yeah.
But I looked like a metalhead, and when I walked in this room, none of the kids liked me. I was an outcast immediately. But I befriended a guy. He walked in the room. He had a Primus shirt on, and he had Connors. I went to him, and I was like, hey, man, I literally said, we're going to be friends. His name was Brandon Brunius, bass player, guitar player. We become fast friends. We still talk to this day. Brandon's dad was Wendell Brunius, and Wendell's one of the all-time greatest trumpet players from New Orleans. So he goes, hey, man, you want to sneak out of the dorms and go see my dad play with George Porter and Johnny Vidacovich? Wow. Now, Johnny was the combo teacher for me then.
Is it the Maple Leaf or?
This was at Johnny Vidacovich's wife used to own a bar that they were playing. I forgot the name of it back then. So the story goes, we got our first day of combo class, and Johnny's like, all right, I want everybody just to improvise over the, and I just did my thing, and the kids scoffed at me. But Johnny threw his sticks against the wall and said, motherfucker, he goes, sorry for my French, but he's really improvising. He's playing this and ba-dum, boom, bing, bang, boom, harmonics. I'll never forget it. And I was like, wow, that's the first time I got like a positive reaction. So at the time, the bass player was just guy Jesse Boyd, who was a fantastic upright bass player. But and he actually played bass in like Metal Church at one time in the 80s or something. I forgot. But
wow.
Jesse was very supportive as well. So we sneak out, see Johnny V and George, and we don't do a trio like that. Blew my mind. I got to speak to George Porter Jr. even back then. Johnny was like, well, I can't tell you what to do, but make sure you're there by 8:30. You know, it's like, see you tomorrow. So I asked Johnny, I was like, man, I'm thinking about going to college. And he goes, man, you don't have to go to college, man. If you don't, I think you'll be fine. You know, he told me, he's like, you don't have to go to college to be a professional musician. And at the time, even though none of my family went to college, you kind of get told at early age you have to do this in order to be successful.
Definitely in Alabama,
especially.
Yeah, man.
So I was totally hook, line, and sinker. Like, I need to go to school, and Johnny told me I didn't have to.
That's really important.
It was a huge moment, you know.
Yeah.
And meeting George back then and getting to him talking to a 15-year-old and being that supportive, being George Porter Jr., like Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Bass players,
No doubt. Okay, so that's what I just didn't want to miss out on, because then I know that he comes back up later in the journey. So we're in Atlanta, and
so I finally quit this band.
Yep.
I had to. And I had to quit the band at my job because I was scared the guy would freak out, which he did. But if we're in private, he might have done something dumb. Okay. So then I was like, I'm free. I got to get a gig. So I call Albert and say, hey, man, what's up with Holly Gunn? And he was like, man, I've been doing a lot of solo. Let's put the band back together. So we put the band back together. And I met this eccentric, amazing guitar player, Dave Yoke, randomly in Tuscaloosa.
Yes, I love Dave. Wait, so Dave was in Highly Kind also?
No, Dave was on that circuit. He was playing in Secondhand Jive and doing the Tuscaloosa, Auburn, Birmingham circuit, living in Atlanta. It's like what you do there. Mm-hmm. But it's hilarious. I'm at this falafel stand in Tuscaloosa, that one that was open back then, waiting for food, like a grill. So anyway, I hear this guy just drunk talking shit. I was like, I turn around, I was like, you Dave Yoke? He goes, yeah, why? I was like, dude, we're supposed to meet. So Dave lives in this amazing neighborhood back then called Howell Station, which is West Midtown. Okay. And it was next to the jail. It was, considered kind of sketchy back then. But man, it's... And that that word is so, I hate it when people are like, oh, this is sketchy or it's the hood. It's just like, what does that mean? It's like it's a neighborhood. If you move somewhere, meet your neighbors, be friendly.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. We moved in this place. We had this real eccentric neighbor across the street, and then like older people, but me and Tony Safiro, and this guy Greg, were living in this house that Dave helped us find near his place, and back then it was $550 for a 3-bedroom that we split 3 ways.
That's insane, right?
So I could afford to make dumb decisions, and
that's important too.
And play. I could rely on Starbucks part time and play the circuit. So yeah, I'm doing Holly Kind, 3-4 days a week, and I'm working at Starbucks. I'm starting to do local gigs at this time.
So you're playing like the booth in Tuscaloosa?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny. Gillette's, yep, which would never close.
Nope.
Well, like, sun came up 6:30 a.m. sometimes or something like that. Right, and then Innisfree, that's how I knew Billy, because he booked Innisfree. Remember Little Willie's? Did you ever play that club? That place was cool. Ralph Lucian, remember that guitar player? He was like the guy that like kind of ran sound at that club. I actually took some guitar lessons from him, but he was, but anyway, what were the other, I guess those were kind of the main ones.
No, then you had not Zydeco.
Saturn?
No, in Tuscaloosa was the bigger place.
Yeah, the Jupiter. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's like a Waffle House now, I think.
God.
The Jupiter, that's right. And they had 2 rooms. And they had that's the first time I ever saw a drive-by truckers. I reviewed them for the school newspaper.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, yeah. So, So that circuit, too, like 1048. I used to play 1048.
Oh,
right?
Dude, I lived in that place.
Yeah, man.
We had Holly Kind always had the top. We always had the Christmas gig and the Thanksgiving gig a lot of times.
I did New Year's there before. It paid like that place was just like a built-in crowd. Doug, such an eccentric guy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, you go.
Well, they're shutting it down.
Are they? I wondered about that.
He let it. I mean, we went there. Kara and I went there a few Christmases ago, and it was very odd. Like it was, the stage just had boxes all the way to the ceiling, and there's like seven or eight toaster ovens everywhere. It was weird.
He was cooking something in there.
Who knows?
Wait, okay, all right. So an early guitar hero for me was Ziggy. Do you remember Ziggy and the Zigtones?
I do.
How about that cat, man? He did a lot of stuff that was like, like maybe kind of like Stevie Ray Vaughan type stuff, but he would flick his pickup in the air. Do you remember that? And hit it with his guitar and then grab it. That blew me away as a kid.
Ziggy was something else, man.
Yeah, a lot of tricks. I feel like there was this lore that he like played with Santana. Do you know what his history was? Or?
I mean, I heard that as well.
Yeah,
I only met him a few times.
Yeah,
but that whole Montgomery scene, man, some wild people. Remember Sue Laterre? Cone Frere?
So wacky, like a trumpet player with like some synth piano sounds. That was like
Henry.
Henry, yeah. Sorry, Henry.
And they had that illegal moonshine for sale, the Blue Midnight Special or something.
Yeah. And you had to join for like a quarter or something like that. You had to become a member to drink after hours.
Yep.
Yeah, downtown Montgomery before it was really developed down there too, and
What's that? Who has that property now? It's not open.
Dude, it's been so long since I've been over there.
That'd be an amazing club that's reopened.
Yeah. What a trip that was like. Yeah, a lot of really weird stuff would happen there.
Ellie, there was 24-hour bars in Montgomery. I mean, the Zip. Remember the Zip?
Where was that?
I forgot, but it was one of the keyboard player in Holly Kine was this guy Trey Evans.
Okay.
Ray Bowles, they used to call him. I mean, one of the craziest motherfuckers. He was a great keyboard player, but he was crazier than hell.
Yeah.
And I would just be on Trey time because he lived in Montgomery. And we would be up till 9 a.m. at the Zip. There's not even locks on the door. and you'd walk in.
Was it next to a package store?
I don't remember.
Okay.
But it was some really weird places in Montgomery. And
1048 was basically almost 20. I mean, they would stay open. Yeah.
That's another weird place, too.
Weird place. And then if 1048 was closed, Sue Laterre would be open.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Buds,
yeah, dude. And also, I played Bud, which was right next door. Yeah, we did some stuff there. And then, but what was the place that was downtown? You remember Rolling in the Hay?
Of course.
They were outstanding. Rick. Yeah.
Stan Foster.
Stan Foster.
Yeah, they were great.
That was like, I would just watch them play as a kid, and I bought they had like a live CD they sold. I bought their CD, and I learned so many bluegrass standards through listening to their CD that they sold. And I remember they had a shtick, and when they played Montgomery, they'd go, "Ladies and gentlemen, since we're in the capital city of Alabama, we're doing our diligence right now. If anyone has any drugs in the room, please just bring them up to the stage right now, and we'll dispose of them accordingly." Right, with that shtick. And then the Miracle Ticket song. You remember that?
I think I do.
Yeah, about like scoring, tickets to a Dead show. What was that? Was it the Brew Pub?
The Brew Pub, yeah.
Yeah, they used to play that spot a lot. I never played there, but I would go watch them.
That was downtown.
Yeah.
Wow. Or how about Cocopelli's?
Oh yeah, dude. That was okay. Cocopelli's. Well, Head on the Door. My first bar gig ever was Head on the Door.
Wow. Deep.
You know what we did? All right, so this is like a high school band, so we're like 15, we're like 16. I was 16. And we had played a private party at Sinclair's on Lake Martin.
Oh, Sinclair's, yep.
And it was a birthday party for like the guitar player's dad, who's like turned 50 or I don't know, but so it was filled with people that were all old enough to go to a bar. We're 16, and my dad had like the camera footage of it, so I went around to all these places in Montgomery with the camera and had them hook it up to their television in the bar with the band. That was my idea, and show them, hey, we have a band, book us.
Wow.
So we go to Head on the Door, and these guys, you could tell they were hurting for business, and they're watching it, and they go, oh, this is great. He goes, are these your fans? And And I go, oh, yeah, those are our fans. He was like, well, if we book you here, will they come watch you play? And I said, yeah, hell yeah, we'll get them to come out. And so they did. Yeah, we packed the place.
Amazing.
And we learned whip and post. That was like our thing we were going to do for the gig.
Amazing, dude.
But head on the door.
Anyway, I've done the circuit.
That's a trip, though, because, like, I don't know, at least in my journey, the way my journey's gone, I have not run into other professional musicians that played that circuit.
It was a big deal. I mean, it was, it was great money, all the way up to Decatur, down to Mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude, there's this, what's that club in Mobile that's like a pub? They have like a super legit green room. Callahan's or something?
Yeah, that best burger in town.
Oh, that's a cool spot.
It's a great spot. Now, Noel Broughton is the guy that owned Monsoons, and he owns the Brickyard and 10 other bars, but Noel Broughton is like a very dear friend, and he's the mayor. He runs the scene down there in Mobile.
Okay.
Him and Maggie Smith. She does Soul Kitchen.
I've been to that place. Soul
But
Kitchen.
the thing about Mobile and like Ben Jernigan, another great friend, and Jake Peavy, the Peavy family. And, there's so many people I love down there, but they're all fucking crazy. Mobile has got the craziest people there are, and I love them to death. But man, it's some crazy people down in Mobile.
Where Mardi Gras started.
Yeah,
Joe Kane.
that's right.
Yeah, I didn't gig down there as much. That's really the only place. But sometimes we would go down there. Like if we did Mardi Gras, we'd do Mobile for one night and then go.
Wow, that's cool.
Down to
I did a few Joe Kane days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so when you were in Dothan, you were probably like 2 hours from Mobile, 3.5 hours from New Orleans, something like that growing up, maybe.
Yeah, it was wild. No, Mobile was about 3, so New Orleans about 4.
4 hours, yeah.
Yeah. So we used to go to New Orleans all the time, and, stay with Brandon.
So that's another thing from that era, too, is like Grant Green, the guitar player.
Grant Green Jr.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Grant Green Jr. So in the Masters of Groove, is that what led you to Bernard Purdy?
Yeah, but
that's not, what year would that have been?
That was after Bruce.
That was after Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's like a Mississippi, New Orleans guy.
No, Grant was New York, Detroit.
Oh.
But Grant moved to Atlanta around. So we were living in Home Park. So yeah, 20 years ago. Okay. And Grant and this guy Deji Coker, a sax player from New York, they both. So we're like, oh my God, these New York guys moved here, and Grant was playing with like Stubblefield all the time, and he was a great B3 player. But I was basically Grant's ride. He was like my surrogate father, uncle, what do you want to call it. I mean, I learned a lot from Grant. I spent a lot of time with that great dude, and he's Grant Green Jr. is son of legendary guitarist Grant Green, and Grant Green's like one of the top Mount Rushmore jazz guitar players.
And that's New York scene, which it makes sense how he would wind up in a band with Bernard Purdy.
That's right.
Okay, got it. So that's like a session all-star band. That's like a Stuff kind of vibe, basically. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta stay in the groove here. Okay. So one thing, the thing we were touching on, which was the Alabama thing that I thought that I noted because I was looking for highly kind stuff. So, because that's kind of where we were. We were talking about highly kind, that circuit. Okay, and then I found a video where y'all cut a record with Johnny Sandlin.
We did.
In like 2008.
Yep.
And I went to that. I've been to that studio.
Duct tape.
At his house. That's the one that was in his garage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I went. It was posthumously, unfortunately, but my good friend David Pinkston worked. He was his engineer at Capricorn. And then even when Johnny had the studio in Birmingham, he was his engineer there. It's kind of like Vestavia Hills area.
Wow.
But anyway, so he took me there, and I met his wife. Aquarium Rescue Unit recorded there, right?
That's right.
So that was like that was like a synchronicity on your path.
Well, it was crazy because, with Highly Kind, we couldn't keep a drummer. Eventually, I started a jam session at the 5 Spot in Atlanta, which was the most groundbreaking thing of my entire adult life was doing this.
And that was like Kevin Scott's Tuesday night.
It was because
jam.
no one wanted the gig. Coy Bowles had it, and Coy's now a Zach Brown band.
Okay.
And he had it every week. And then Organized Time had it with the organist from the Atlanta Braves, Matthew Kaminsky. It was an organ trio with this amazing guitar player, Micah Caldwell. And I forgot the drummer's name. They were a sick organ trio. Organized Time, great name.
Yeah, that's good.
But no one wanted the gig because it was the 5-spot, little 5 points on a Tuesday, and it didn't pay. And Micah goes, "Man, you want this gig? I think you could actually do something with it." I was like, "Yeah, I want a gig in the city," because at the time I wasn't gigging in the city at all. I was only gigging in the suburbs and doing it in the Alabama, Florida circuit.
Okay.
I had a whole thing. I'd leave on Wednesday to go to Gadsden or Birmingham, and then come back to Atlanta on Monday and just do that.
My family's from Hoax Bluff, my whole dad's side of the family.
Wow.
I never gigged up there. Where'd you play in Gadsden?
Antonelli's?
Oh. You know Quincy Meeks?
Probably.
Yeah, he's from Gadsden. Anyway. Sorry.
That's where Albert was from Highland Gun.
Really?
So I basically lived there.
Oh, I didn't know he's from Gadsden.
No.
Far out.
At the jam started taking off big time after a while. Because back then you hit the pavement when you made flyers and you went to Georgia Tech and these universities, and back then it was kids wanting to see live music. And we were pulling huge numbers. We were pulling 100, 200 people on a Tuesday every week.
Doing an improvisational jam. And was the concept on this? Well, okay.
So it didn't start that way, though.
Okay.
It started as being a jazz jam
Got
because
it.
when I was younger, I went through my jazz hole period where I was a very serious studying jazz, modern jazz musician, and through that time is how I got all the New York shit, which changed my life. The irony is that there's this DVD from this dude Ari Honing, this incredible New York drummer, live at the Fat Cat, and we religiously watched this DVD. It was like our Bible of how to play standards. And a year before that was happening, I heard Wayne Krantz for the first time, which changed my life forever. And so we were all trying to be New York dudes in Atlanta, basically. And this guy comes in with a ponytail, younger dude, and gets up there and plays drums. And it was the first guy, like at the time, that had this kind of really mature sense of rock and blues and R&B. He had a feel that the guys I was playing with my age, they were still wanting to be like really experimental. But this dude showed up and started playing his ass off, and I got his number.
Nashville Custom Hats specializes in creating fully custom hats from scratch, allowing you to design exactly what you need. Pricing is based on quantity, so adding extra details won't increase the cost, and the minimum starts at only 50 quantities. Thanks to rapid growth over the past 3 years, they've launched the NCH store, now recognized as Nashville's favorite hat destination. The NCH store at 501 Union Street in the heart of the Art District in downtown Nashville, you can pick up vintage hats, design custom hats to order, buy NCH branded hats, or even just make one on the spot at the hat bar. And make sure you get you some coffee while you're there, because it's strong medicine. This hat I'm wearing is the Dirty Bird. This is a denim hat. You can see different details like the back, the leather strap, choices for stitching on the inside. So when you hear you can add any extra details, these would be examples. A rope, a colored rope, maybe multicolored hat. The sky is the limit and the cost never goes up. Every episode I wear an NCH branded hat, so if you see something you like, you know where to find it.
I put his name in my phone as Ben. Come to find out it was Duane Trucks.
Okay.
And Duane needed a gig, and we needed a drummer, so Duane did the circuit with me for a few years, straight out of high school.
Yeah, so it was like he was 18?
He was 19 or something.
He was 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
We spent
What year was that?
2006, 7?
Okay, because that video I saw from 2008, he looked young.
Yeah, exactly. By that time.
Yeah, man.
So he experienced the circuit, and then he started playing with the Colonel. Because, Duane knew Colonel since he was a baby. I mean, I think the story is that Bruce almost sat on Duane when he was a child, which on a bus or something. Wow. Bruce almost killed him.
That's hilarious. Damn.
So when Duane got in, I was like, oh shit, like, you could kind of feel that Bruce is kind of looking for a new band, which he did a lot. You have eras with different people that move on.
Totally.
And me and Duane had a trio called Tom's Generic Drift, which was a Bruce quote. It was me and this guy, Nick Johnson, this incredible guitar player in Atlanta. And Bruce came to my gig at Bojanic. I was eating a restaurant and said,
okay, I don't know that.
I want you to play my band. It was me, Duane, Nick Johnson, and Bruce.
Wow.
And that was a Pharaoh Gummit.
Pharaoh Gummit, yeah.
And I'm safe to say it's probably we were the last real full-time band he had. Now, Darren Stanley, who's an incredible best buddy drummer, he was with Bruce for about 4.5 years, but with various people in and out of the band. But me, Duane, and Nick were the longest running, I think, like his last set band. And that were the Colonel years.
Well, we were there. We entered. Okay, well, I just thought it might be cool to start with some quotes. I got some Colonel Bruce quotes.
Okay.
So I just read them to you, and then you tell me whatever comes to mind. Intent is all that matters, not the notes.
Always.
That's the deal. That's like the key to improv, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, it's like what separates different people when they play the same notes is their intention.
Yeah.
When notes are not going anywhere. Everybody plays a G differently.
Yeah.
But is it a fearful G or is it your own G? That's the way I look at it.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, intent is all that matters. Indeed. Okay, it's all about the playing, not the instrument.
Yes. I mean, you got to think about it, like how we're talking right now is how you should view your instrument. I mean, it's there's a lot of emphasis on like gear, but gear doesn't make the band. You prove that. I played gigs, like I remember one time in Austin, Texas, I was playing at that jazz club, Monk's Jazz Club, and the input jack went out of my Mulan. So I used the house bass, which was a Squier P bass.
Yeah.
Sounded great. So, ain't an instrument.
It's the hands.
It's whatever it is. Your intention is your hands.
Yeah. Okay, this is one that I saw that I've said that like it seems like it made an impact on you, which is don't take yourself too seriously. Take what you do seriously.
I'm getting that tattooed eventually.
Yeah. That's like maybe your ethos or part of it.
Yeah, for everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like elitism is not attractive. And
it's so common in the jazz world.
And it's a shame to me. It's because I've been very lucky to work with people that are really titans of that genre. And none of them are elitist.
How about that?
None of them. And I think that's why the quote-unquote genre has suffered is the elitism. And musician elitism is just the grossest thing to me. I mean, it's the one thing you shouldn't. I mean, no one wants to hang out with somebody who's, I'm a very important musician. It's horrible. Get over yourself. It's supposed to be joyful, and taking it seriously is important. I mean, I take it as serious as a heart attack, what I do, but myself, no. I think it's absurd that we're even sitting here doing this, it's absurd.
No, it's not.
It's though it's absurd that I played a gig last night. What we played, it's absurd that this is our life.
It's magic. Yeah. I see what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? And you should feel more.
It's a blessing.
Of a blessing than it being this elitist horseshit. And that's not just jazz, but it's any genre. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and think that you're the truth, then you're far from it.
Yeah. Well, then, so then there's like the intimidation factor that keeps people away. Kind of you're talking about how it like affects the genre.
It's horrible. It wasn't. The thing is, there's all this romanticism about all the hard asses, and they threw a symbol at Charlie Parker and look at him. It's like, again, I'm not saying that. I think people don't understand like the difference between what a bully is and then actual giving criticism.
Yeah.
Objective criticism is very important to a younger musician or anybody for that matter. And if your intention is correct, it comes across as so. But I'm very active in the mental health scene, you could call it. Like huge Jungian guy. And I've done just so much independent study in different religions and philosophies, and mostly young in the past few years. But, it makes me really sad to hear things I've heard musicians go through who went to school or up in New York or wherever. But I've heard some stories where it's just like, come on. And the sad thing is, one of the saddest scenes in that genre was Atlanta to me, because there's a few guys that could cut it, but most of the guys that are most opinionated can't cut it, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And they're miserable.
Yeah, there's jaded people.
And they're jaded people that spread their disease. And I don't think it's a place and time. Like I'm an educator. I teach a lot, still do.
Mm-hmm.
And if I took myself seriously, I wouldn't be able to maintain as many students I've had over the years. Because it's, I'm not here. I don't know the truth. No one does. There's no black or white way of doing anything, especially in music and art. That's the beautiful thing about it. So when people go down that route of it having to be this way and play this way and learn this, you have to start with this. No, you don't. You can start and do anything you want. Because at the end of the day, you're the only person that knows what you want. You're the only person that knows what you need to work on. When I get hired to teach, or I go teach at New School or do a clinic or something, I'm there to provide my experience. That's what I think. I don't offer advice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened to me, and maybe you'll get some inspiration, or you won't do that. But yeah, anybody who says they have the truth or run away.
Well, it's experience, and I did kind of have that on here that I wanted to bring up because I saw that you teach lessons. I was looking at your website, and yeah, dude, I would recommend that anybody take lessons from you, because there's multiple aspects. It's one, you want to be a good musician, but you want to be a gigging musician, and you are a guru on this is how you can be a gigging musician and survive as a full-time musician, because that's like a whole other lesson to learn.
Yeah, it's also time management.
Yeah.
And just not take yourself seriously.
Yeah, so all the kernel,
I'm telling you.
the kernels of wisdom from the kernel. Okay, yeah, so I got a handful more. I don't know, I feel like we were kind of touching on this, but it's just you expect pain, misery, and conflict.
That's the music business.
That's the music business, right?
Am I wrong?
That's what you're just... No, yeah.
I mean, that was some heavy shit, man, because when I got the van, that's the first thing he asked me. It was like, why are you doing this to yourself? And no one had ever asked me that in my entire life.
That was the first thing he asked you. Wow. He wanted to see if you had the backbone to cut it on the road, maybe.
Well, just it's not even that. I mean, it's breaking that ego.
Yeah.
It's very Jungian. It's a shadow. Because, being independent in any sort of fashion is an investment, and it's ups and downs. It never ends. 1 month you're up, and 2 months you're down.
Yeah.
And that's the business. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're Eric Clapton or, a guitar player on Broadway played 7 nights a week. It's like it's you're in charge of your own destiny, and there's certain things you're not in charge of.
Yeah.
Now you can go work for somebody. That's just fine too. There's whatever you prefer. But if you're in the music to get laid, if you're in the music to get famous, you're in the music to hold power. All that stuff might happen, but it all fades away.
Yeah.
And the ups and downs is what that means. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, if you think about it now, if you're a sideman musician nowadays on a big tour, I mean, you're not even worth 1% of the pie on a given night. You're probably worth 0.6 to 0.8%, really. But management gets their 20.
Yeah.
Booking agents get their 10, 15 in fluctuation. But then the musicians, the ones getting less than 1% majority of the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And that's pain and misery.
It is.
But that's the thing though, is that it's important to embrace. It's the young stuff, the shadow self, the darkness, like that person. So you don't avoid it, you embrace it, and then that's where you become the light.
Yeah.
Is once you really know how fucked the music business is, then you'll be fine because you don't care.
You got to remove expectation.
Yeah,
that's like the key. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're really happy of just going with the flow, doing your own thing. You attract the right people.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, man. Yeah. And then the people that do become jaded, the negativity, if you project negativity, that's what you're going to get back.
You're going to meet the same negative fucking people.
Oh, yeah, man. And have the same negative, like, cry me a river chats.
Oh, my God. I hate them.
Oh, okay, so then that is like collapse into place.
What is it?
Collapse into place.
I mean, that's the universe. It always collapses into place.
Yeah. Riding that wave.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when in doubt, go completely out or do something familiar.
And that goes back, we talked about earlier, being 11 years old.
Yeah.
When in doubt, go out. I mean, it's like rely on your intention, rely on what you are hearing.
So that is Platorum, where you.
Platorum is some serious shit.
The state of attention where nothing happens.
I mean, Bruce used to catch me in Platorum all the time and just laugh his ass off. I wish Duane was here to tell some stories. I would be so fried, mentally exhausted from working with him. It was always just a million gymnastics. I would walk into a gas station, just stare at stuff. That's Platorum. Platorum would be something like this, like. That's Platorum. And when I first started dating my wife, Kara, I have a whole folder of pictures of her instead of Platorum on face. She just dripped off like Platorum.
So this is something you want to avoid?
No, you can't avoid it.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, it was basically like daydreaming.
Daydreaming.
But way deeper because you're an adult.
Yeah.
So, Platorum.
Platorum.
These are great Bruce questions, by the way.
You like them?
Yeah, these are great.
Oh, good. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I did it. And that's
You're killing it.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I took this very seriously. And that's why I wanted to bring them up at the beginning, because I feel like there's like this through line that I wanted to, yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, I got a couple more. Oh, yes. The T's.
Yes, the T's, baby.
Tone, taste, timing, and threat of vomit.
Threat of vomit. And those, I mean, when I teach, that gets brought up immediately.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And we all know what tone is.
Yep.
I mean, tone is the most important thing you really have, because that's what people hear. Because like there's a great Wayne Krantz quote about no one gives a shit about if you know how much theory you know as a listener. And that's kind of the same kind of diagnosis, you know, like tone's what people hear.
Yeah.
That's your calling card. Your time, your sense of time is very important to have good time. Your touch is how you play the instrument.
That's where your tone comes from.
So it's all tied in.
Yeah.
Taste, you know, very important. You know, and I love people with no taste as much as I love people with taste. But the threat of vomit is the most important thing. That's the danger aspect of playing.
Okay.
You just don't know, you know, just the threat of vomit. It's the dry heaving. You know, like, is he gonna, you know, and that's where all the brilliance is. You know, when you listen to, you know, R.L. Burnside or, you know, and all the great bluesmen, you know, Sedell Davis, you know, it's like all they got is a threat of vomit, man. It's like you don't know what's about to happen.
You step outside yourself in the moment because of the situation that's put upon you. Like that's the brilliance of what you get from the threat of vomit.
Yeah, it's the danger. It's like natural music. It's like all the stuff we've listed all had threats of vomit. It's just like, what is this really gonna work? You know, is he gonna land the one on this? Okay, he did.
Yeah, pushing yourself to the edge.
Yeah.
Pushing it to the limit. Yeah, trying to step outside yourself,
yeah.
Which is what that moment, being in the moment, gets you to. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So there's just like a couple more, and then it's going to transition. I want to see I'll make sure that this is, yeah, okay. The recovery and release, which I feel like I had something that it might tie into in a minute. Recovery and release.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you can look at it different ways. You know, I mean, the recovery for me is, you know, on a gig when the threat of vomit has happened, you recover, you know, and then the release is essentially what's coming out of all that. You know?
That's your moment of zen.
That's it. The release is the very most important part. You know, I love pushing the limits of tension, and you've seen the series I did here, which is the Atlanta stuff, where I might be sweeping the floor.
I've got video of that.
Screaming or whatever.
I'm going to include the video of that.
But the release is very important. But sometimes, you know, Bruce Lee, when he would push that to the edge of like, what is going on here? You know?
Yeah.
It's performance art to the highest degree, you know.
At the highest degree, dude. And then maybe this, is a moment to touch on that, because that's when I say you're carrying the torch. Like when I went to see you at Eastside Bowl, that's when I saw it fully. And it really blew my mind. And I was like, holy shit, this is the thing. You're doing what he started, and it's so much more than just the music, performance art, having the audience question what's happening. Is this supposed to be happening? Is this not happening? Am I a part of this? I told you at one point I felt compelled to join you, and I wasn't really.
You would have.
I know, dude. Next time
it's always open. So always open out there.
You know? Yeah, because like I've seen videos of that situations like that Bruce would make happen, but then you've like developed your whole repertoire that's your thing, but it's such a unique thing. Like nobody else is doing something like that. That's pushing the limits. Like you said, performance art is so much more than music. And the one question I had about it that I felt like I was picking a vibe up on, and I was talking to Marlon about it last night, but like the idea of in that space, if you start that performance, is that once you've started to enter the performance realm of sonic space, it never stops. maybe it's just one thing happening, whatever, but is your conception going into it, this is, once we've begun, we don't stop until the show is through?
Yeah, I mean, we just did it. I mean, I did it for every week for so long. You know, and that's where the experience is. You know, belief is powerful, but experience is out of belief, you know. So, you know, what I love about improvising and then performance art is that it could be completely a horrible night. And that's just a part of the journey of it. You know, I mean, some nights you're more on it, sometimes you're not, you know. I always said, 14 years I did that jam. Probably 70% of it wasn't good. It's a good percentage, you know.
It was pretty good.
And I say good, not in the sense of I don't care what anybody thinks about it, but just the flow, you know. But the night, you know. But I mean, yeah, the performance art seems very important to me because when my career was starting to take off more, I found it very important to keep it real and show people not to take themselves. It's a social experiment.
Yes, social experiment, yes.
Because it's like, okay, you know, this guy played with these people, but he's on the floor spinning around, and what the fuck is this? You know, it's because, you know, and part of me is always like, I want to run everybody out of the room, and the people left are your allies. You know, that's the goal. It's like, you know, if people can't take it, that's fine.
You're weeding them out.
Yeah, you weed out the people.
Because I've had that, yeah, because like people think you just want a lot of people at your show, but it's really about the quality of people you got. Because if they're not part of your show or engaged with your show, they're only interrupting the show anyway.
And it's the thing, and you're not, and the realistic thing is you're not making $1 billion off of performance art.
Yeah.
So it's not about the money, it's about the art and like the expression and getting stuff off your chest.
All you can control is the room and the moment. That's your time to express. Yeah. So like the perfect space to express yourself is like everything. Yeah, man. Oh my goodness. It was yeah. So like, I don't know. I have some video of like some of the moments from that, but yeah. So like you're on stage, you're playing, and then you go out into the room and you started circling the venue basically. So you exit the door, but you also have this sense, like you're putting off a vibe, like you're kind of confused or something's not right. You're looking for something. And so then, yeah, you exit and you come back around, and I saw it and I said, oh, wait, this is like a thing that's happening right now. And then you did it again. And then that was when I thought maybe I should join him. And then you did it again.
Well, I was waiting for people to join in.
You wanted that. Oh, I knew it, dude. I knew it.
Yeah, because, you know, I remember one time I so many memories of doing it. One of the last, Elliott Street Pub was an era. Five Spot was the first few years era, and that was a big room. And then we moved it to Smith's very briefly, and then I was like, I want a basement. And then Elliott Street Pub came in to picture Castleberry Hill in Atlanta. And, you know, that was the hub, man. That, you know, I hate taking full credit for stuff. You know, I was the face and the figurehead behind this out Atlanta scene, just like Bruce was at one time.
And he did his thing at the Five Spot. Isn't that kind of where the Aquarium Rescue Unit formed?
Little Five, really down the street. So, like, literally a block over.
So that's a major synchronicity there also.
10 years later.
And you and the idea of you carrying the torch.
Well, yeah, but I was always doing it. You know, performance art was always interesting to me because of pro wrestling. So in high school, I would do weird shit, and eventually I figured out that's a good performance art. I didn't have, but again, it's like those, you know, the amount of musicians that came out of that are doing amazing things. It's just crazy to see, and I don't take credit for it. I was just the kind of the backbone. I was making the mental and physical sacrifice to do it, you know, maintaining it, you know, because, you know, I've had, you know, drug issues in the past, and that all fueled the fire at one point, you know.
Dude.
But I was insistent on waving a flag, the Atlanta flag, no matter what, life or death, you know.
Yeah.
And it was that there, and the Elliott Street time was crazy time, man. And I think that was the peak era of the jam. Was down in that dingy basement, and these two guys, Mike and Pete, these Italian brothers from New York, ran it. You know, they're nice dudes, and they really didn't know what to expect. But they knew they wanted it, and yeah, God, stories for days. You know, I could. One of my favorite moments, so many, was one time they advertised the jam as an official party for the Dead and Go, which you can't do that without asking, and I was pretty mad about it. They knew I knew some of the guys in the band. You know, Teal's a very good friend of mine.
And part of your fraternity. It's like a fraternity if you play with Bruce, right?
Well, it's a cult. We're going to that later.
Yeah, because we got to get back into
It's more
that.
than a fraternity.
I got there's some more to talk about there.
Yeah. But I remember so angry that it was packed, and my jam was never packed like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I'm good. The fuck, I'm pissed. Most people would be happy.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe that these people are here because they think it's this party. So I said, okay, follow me, guys. And I did 100 balls of beer on the wall in its entirety while stacking chairs on top of our drummer, pinned him to the ground. I mean, the chairs were 8 feet in the air. And it ran the entire place out. One guy who was tripping with his hands and was just huddled out. He couldn't take it. And Mike and Pete were pissed that night because, like, you ran everybody out of here.
They were fucking pissed, huh?
Yeah. But, you know, that's the thing is...
But you told them what was up. You're like, this is why I did this.
Yeah, but also, I've always wanted to do that. What a great way to... Yeah, but I tell you, anybody out there wanting to do that, it's about a half-hour commitment.
Is that how long it takes?
Yeah.
I want to wrap up this Bruce thing because I feel like I have an idea of transitioning all of this to the next thing. Okay. There's this poem from him that was in the Red Handbook of Poetry, and it's...
Published. Heavy shit.
Yeah.
Ginsberg was in that book.
Yes. And it's, a stained soul cringes at the small details in the mirror of embarrassment.
That's some heavy shit.
Right? Okay, so now, that really moved me. I was like, I gotta write that down. And then, so then I read that Carl Denson called Colonel Bruce the poet of an undefined movement. So
Wow.
So can you define the movement?
That's heavy.
Right?
I mean, here's the thing. And I'm saying it's all in all love for him because, you know, I really felt like I had a very deep relationship with Bruce. I mean, he was like, you know, Teal and Jimmy would tell you it was like father-son shit, you know. But it was a cult.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize it until a year ago because my wife got in this podcast dealing with cults. And people who survived cults talk about being a cult. And in the first episode, I put listening descriptions. I'm like, this was a cult.
So you weren't even being tongue-in-cheek when you said that?
No, I'm not. I mean, you got to think about it. And I've said this before, but there are success stories out of Bruce, whatever success means.
Yeah.
But man, there are a lot more, hundreds of casualties along the way.
Yeah.
You know, he would break you. If you couldn't handle it, then you wouldn't, he's not going to care.
Yeah.
You know, he would break people.
Wow.
You know, and I think that looking back, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, he broke you to build you up.
He broke my ego completely in half and made me see it. You know, and then, but also, it makes you see the others, which is hard.
Yeah.
Not to be judgmental.
Yeah.
That's very hard.
But it makes it, I would imagine, so much easier to let stuff roll off your shoulders in life because of what right?
That's what it is.
That's the way I feel about it. Not that I had that experience, but I feel like I know
literally,
that.
if you were to sum it up, it's that easy. That's what he prepared you for.
And I feel like I've had people like that in my life too.
It doesn't matter. Dude, his quote, insults are compliments, compliments are insults.
Yeah.
It's true. Because, again, you're relying on somebody at face value. And speaking of experiences you could, everybody else, there's been plenty of times in your life where you go see your friends play a gig, you don't like it. And the first thing they go, hey, man, what'd you think? Oh, man, it was great. I mean...
Wait, hold on. There's like a whole thing about ways to give a non-compliment compliment.
But at that point, oh, God, it's the worst.
You guys
backhanded shit.
Like, you guys really look like you're having fun up there.
Oh, God. or man, that's a really nice bass.
Oh, yeah.
Heard that one before.
Oh, yeah. Man, you guys really went for it.
Oh, God. That's PTSD. Or, what else? We'll probably think along the way. But
yeah, there's more. It's fun. We'll also like running sound. You come up with that. Yeah. Well, you guys really took me somewhere.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to forget that one.
Dude.
How about that one?
That's incredible.
Oh, it's so good, right? Okay, wow. So a cult. How about that?
Cult of Zambi.
Cult of Zambi. Yes. All right, well, also because we have to make sure we get through everything, I think what I also want to touch on, because I know that, golly, we got to do this again, honestly, because I feel like there's like some other Bruce things I wanted to touch on.
Keep going there.
Yeah, should we keep going there?
Yeah. We can do another one too.
Okay. All right, I want to. Okay, because
like another one tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Let's get it. Let's do it.
Okay, so he was really into signs and birthdays. When the first time you met him, did he guess the day you were?
He was a month off of me.
A month off?
But he said January 25th. I'm December 25th.
Wow.
But then we found out that my water sign was Aquarius. Not water sign, my rising Earth. And what's the other one? Your moon.
Your moon.
Oh, your Aquarius moon. I was right.
Yeah, because like the time you're born, basically. Yeah.
I mean, we'd be in the middle of nowhere at Ruby Tuesday, and a waitress would walk up. He would go, September 13th, 1987. And she'd go, how'd you know that? You know,
wow.
I mean, there's some heavy shit. I mean, here's a story that I haven't even told publicly, but, you know, when I was getting married to my ex-wife, you know, a month before we're having lunch. I used to have lunch with the old man almost every day of the week. It was hilarious.
Wow.
He looks at me at the Cater Farmers Market at the hot bar. And he looks at me and goes, won't last a year and a half. The only way it's going to work for you is you're going to end up with a Virgo from Alabama. And I remember looking at him so angry, like, how could you say that?
Yeah, well, you had to be hurt,
yeah,
right?
And, you know, but in the back of my mind, it was kind of like, man, maybe.
Did you feel it? Like, maybe he's right?
I was young, you know. And then it was almost to the dot. It was, you know, I separated from my ex the week he died, which was May 1st. So he was almost hit on the money.
You separated with her before?
No, it was during that all happening.
During that all happening?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really almost on the dot.
Wow.
A year and 5 months.
Wow.
And then, you know, I met my Virgo from Alabama in Brooklyn.
You sure did.
It's wild.
Yeah, man, that's incredible, right? And she came in with, what, she have a raccoon?
She had a rat in her shoulder. Busted through the door at the Gibson, and I was, you know, and I was in a weird place. You know, I was after my divorce. I went, you know, I went off the deep end a little bit, which is normal.
Yeah.
The deal. And I had an amazing therapist, but I was still figured my shit out for a few years. And at that time in my life, I didn't believe in any. I was like, there ain't no such thing as love and all this shit. And then, Karen walked, that door busted open like a tornado. And I went up to her and literally said, "Where the fuck are you from?" She said, "From Montgomery, Alabama." "Oh, I'm from Dothan."
How about that?
Wow. I was, that's the thing. I was never that aggressive style.
Yeah.
I when I said that to her in my mind, I was like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, where the fuck are you from?"
You don't find a lot of people from Alabama and Brooklyn, I would imagine.
No, I mean, there's a few of them.
Yeah,
not like that.
Yeah, man.
So even then here's another weird tie. So Kara's first live music experience of her life was at 1048, and she was 10 years old, and they gave her the X's on her hands to go see Marco Benevento duo with, because my brother-in-law Jordan Kirkland, he's a journalist, and he has a series called Live and Listen.
Okay.
And I heard about Jordan just every time I saw a picture of somebody bruised, I'd investigate him, and but so I got kind of obsessed with Jordan because I was like, there's this guy in Montgomery trying to do cool shit. This guy's got to be a psycho. To get that upstream, And that was, turns out Kara was his sister.
Wow.
So Bruce connection there. So when Kara was 10, they decided to go play this gig at 1048 because Kara's older sister was dating one of the guys in the band at the time. But then years later, Kara found out from Joe Russo that's the first time they met Colonel Bruce. So Bruce was there at 1048 for some reason, probably standing right next to her.
Oh my goodness. It's so cosmic.
It gets, that's what I'm saying with the cult. I mean, this guy is in every aspect of my life predicted stuff happening. Like one of his first nicknames for me was New York.
Wow.
It was eventually the Pelican, but he used to call me New York. New York.
Wow.
That was New York quality right there. That was his biggest compliment, was he calls you New York quality.
Like a session player?
I mean, yeah.
Or it could be anything.
It could be anything.
Just like it's highfalutin in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where I ended up,
How about that, man? That's incredible. Okay, so in that psychic thing and things that like the folklore and whatnot, there's a thing where he would like ask you 3 questions, pick 2 numbers between 1 and 10, right? Is that, and then like then you know what I'm getting at? And then like you're in the woods, you see a key, you look down, do you
describe it?
Yeah. What did you see him do that a lot?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. And again, Bruce was a number savant, and you could almost say autistic,
Yeah.
for sure. There's definitely elements of that. Probably misdiagnosed because of his age, but
yeah.
Since we know so much more about it nowadays. But I mean, the dude was a number savant. It was insane. I mean, his gambling was legendary shit. I mean, I saw him. He would hit the horses and bet these 1 penny bets to hit a super trifecta, which means you guess the entire order of the race, which is like the odds of that means you win 13 grand off of 1 penny. And I've seen him do it multiple times.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Then what would he do with the money?
I don't know. So, is there a camera?
I don't know. There's no cameras here. Oh my God.
I was still telling me he would. That was the thing. He would go, man. We'd be playing gigs in New Orleans. I mean, it's some wild shit, man. He would hit arrows up, and I've seen him win lots of money. I mean, he was definitely a gambler.
So maybe like degenerate gambler, would you have
Food and gambling was his thing. No drugs.
Yeah, because he didn't do drugs. And he didn't
food and gambling.
Wow. Food and gambling. Man. It's like, what an okay, what about he would always pretend to smoke cigarettes
and blow smoke out.
And you would see smoke.
Yeah.
That's for real.
I don't know how he did it.
You know how he did it, but
yeah.
That's crazy.
he smoked cigarettes for years and he quit a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, he would blow smoke. One time I swear to God, he made his hands small. He was like, oh, and he's like, look at this. And his hand shrunk. And it went back to normal size. That was some weird shit.
Wow. Man, that's so heavy. That's a trip. So there was this. So the destiny that you had was to meet him and to learn a style of improvisation. So he has like.
Well, here's some more weird deep shit.
Okay.
So John Rainey Atkins, my uncle, was one of Bruce's mentors.
Really?
To find out.
But you didn't know that.
No.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And that was like, yeah, so he's basically just always around the Atlanta area. Was he in Birmingham for a while too, or?
No, he lived, when he had his first heart attack, he moved to Pensacola for a while.
Oh, okay.
And then moved back to Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I had one that he said he has his dream is to put a brick next to a napkin in an office.
That's the best.
What is that?
Interpret that any way
you want.
I mean, to me, it's the act of the great, his whole thing about the great musicians were in the act of doing nothing.
Yeah.
Which makes so much sense. Like, you always say, like, I want to get to the point where we're only playing one song or one chord all night. Nothing.
Wow. And, okay, and then his favorite song to play was Love Light, right? Is that
one of them?
One of them, maybe not the. And then that was the last song that he ever played.
And that was interesting. I mean, I was the MD along with Duane Trucks on that. And, the original set list was I'm So Glad It's the Encore. And I changed that last minute to be Love Light.
Wow.
And here's some more weird shit. So I started, the last thing Bruce told me was, said to me was, I was like, you come up there with me? I was like, well, I'm not supposed to, at the time. He goes, you have to. You're the one who started or stop the songs. Which is true because Bruce hated dead space between songs. It was like, if he just started the next one, go, 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 go. What are you doing? It's like he wanted to nonstop flow of shit.
Yeah.
And I ended up playing Love Light in the wrong key that night.
Oh, wow. Y'all did an E?
I did a G. For some reason. And I went through the text messages when he passed. He texted me a week prior, G is the key of regret. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What did you think was like? What were you thinking?
I didn't remember him texting me. He always texts me weird, random shit all the time.
Yeah.
Or just gibberish, like old man text gibberish. Yeah.
Or like literally gibberish because he would speak another language.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Another guy you should definitely get here and talk about Bruce is Ted Pecchio.
Oh, love Ted.
Ted was in the Code Talkers, and
that's right. He's in the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He has some crazy stories as well.
Well, I should say that. The Bruce documentary, that's where I got these quotes from. I just took notes while I was watching it.
Perfect.
They're so good, right?
I've been there for a little bit.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Young buck.
Yeah. Talk about it. Yeah, you and Duane playing a gig in like a bar. So where was that gig that you were playing? And you're like all dressed up too. You're like,
well, he made us wear suits.
Did you always have to do that?
Yeah, for a while.
Oh, wait, because Hubert Sumlin wore suits, right?
Yeah, and that was the Code Talkers thing, but then he wanted us to do that too, which is hilarious. Yeah. And then, so.
Like Hubert Sumlin.
Zero.
and saw y'all in suits and said you looked good.
Well, that was the co-talkers. That was Ted.
That was with Ted. Okay, yeah. So then he continued that. Way before us, yeah. Wow, you were someone who famously played with both Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf. He was stolen.
Just passed around.
Passed around. Yeah. So the documentary is it's very insightful, very great, so then I went and saw you play basically right after I finished that documentary. It was perfect for me to walk in and be like, I get this, I get what this is, and I respect it so much. And I know, so there's a couple things that I read, and then you had this statement, and you said, you posted this, just I've looked at some of your social media posts and things, and you said, I'll always look back at my 30s in New York City as the first time I truly felt seen as a musician and as myself as an adult. And there was a moment where you were on stage with Wayne Krantz and Bruce was in the audience, was in the green room kind of, or behind the stage watching. Yeah. Was that the culmination of that?
That was it, man. That was everything in a nutshell.
Yeah.
In my life. It was I was on stage with Wayne Krantz and Zach Danziger, who both in their own right were my post-Bruce huge influences.
Yeah.
And then Bruce brought in Mike Gordon and John Fishman to come watch us.
Oh, wow.
At the 5 spot that was renamed Aisle 5 now.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it came full, it was some heavy shit.
Wow, man.
The place where I got started.
Yeah.
With Bruce and Wayne, the two biggest people that musically impacted me, of my thoughts, and then Zach Danziger, who same deal, his vision for years of all of his projects from Bluth, Boomish, his attitude was a huge influence. So now I'm on stage, hometown show, it was packed. And Fish is there, who I never got into. It was wild.
And random because they're an Atlanta band,
yeah.
Really, but such a huge deal. And then for you that's so even if they were there on their own right, but then for Bruce have wanted them to see it, that's a very special thing.
It's pretty wild.
He's showing off.
Right.
He's saying, look at what I developed or helped develop. I played a part in, right?
Yeah.
Something of that nature.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, man. That's magnificent. And so that was
talking about now sitting here. That's all that in one thing.
Yeah, that's everything. And then knowing that Wayne Krantz and Bruce were your biggest influences, and especially in your approach to improvisation, I know there's this book.
Oh, also too, on that tour, my band King Baby was opening for Krantz. So it was a full Mark Rodabaugh, Matt Slocum, Rick Lawler.
Yeah.
My fucking dudes.
That's who I saw on stage last night.
I saw Rick.
Yeah, he's so soulful.
Amazing dude. Rick is incredible.
Sounded incredible.
He's incredible.
I'm going to put a little bit of video from that in this also.
Sick.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, y'all's rendition of Jealous Guy. Ooh, and your bass solo. We talked about it last night.
That's hilarious. I wasn't expecting that.
Some epic journeys there. That was okay, and that's Marlon on drums.
Yeah, unbelievable musician.
And he also played with Bruce for a spell, huh?
I think Marlon did more of the studio stuff for Bruce.
Studio stuff, got it.
I think he probably played with him a few times.
Okay.
Rick was in Bruce's band.
Wow.
As well.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Marlon said that. Yeah. Wow. So you found this, the Improvisers OS.
Yeah.
That was like really influential on you.
Huge. Still is.
Still is.
I mean, the Krantz thing hit me like a ton of bricks. In my early 20s, I was searching for something in my head. I love improvising. I'm done trying to study this jazz language, this vocabulary. I never felt comfortable. I always want to do my own thing with it. But I love guitar players. That's my karma. I back up guitar players. But man, with Wayne, when I first heard him, it completely flipped me out. It was like, this is what I hear in my head of improvising. It's like more rhythmic based and soulful, but still the highest degree of improvised art I've ever heard. With my favorite rhythm sections. It was incredible. He had a book. He released a book. This must have been 2005, maybe.
Okay.
Bought it immediately. And man, I was like a Rain Man making these formulas out and changed my entire perspective. And that's, my teaching, I call it octave displacement is my method.
Okay.
But it's based around what Krantz does, basically. But it's my base interpretation of what he's doing.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I don't want to talk too much because you can always come take a few lessons.
Maybe that's what it should be then, if you want to leave it at that. Yeah, for real.
But yeah, that's my. But yeah, Wayne's. I mean, he's a genius. He's the most unsung hero of like modern music to me, because all that stuff he was doing since the '90s, people have essentially copied or subconsciously copied. Same thing with Zach Danziger. I mean, Zach Danziger, it's such a trip. It's like, these are my friends, and, people I love. It's like, Zach, and like, without Zach Danziger, there wouldn't be really a lot of most modern drums or concepts of like electronic meets human.
Yeah, the idea of like a drummer embracing a DJ kind of, or being this, he's the one.
He's the one.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, like, it's just, and I think we're talking about attraction. It's like, I remember when I was younger, one of my best buddies, Rob Lane, we had a band called Atlanta Funk Society. We still do it, and Rob is an amazing guitar player, amazing singer, and he was bartending in this place, and I was real frustrated. Like, man, all my buddies are going to Europe. They got real tours. I'm still stuck. And Rob looks at me and goes, man, all the stuff that you find, I don't remember the exact quote, it's basically like, you worship like musicianship and art. Like, what do you, stop bitching. Like, your heroes are Sean Lane and like Colonel and Wayne Krantz and Zach Danziger and fucking, Albert Eiler. I mean, the list goes on. It's the subculture that I've always been drawn to.
Yeah.
Because it's just real,
And you've walked into it. Everything, all your heroes, you've wound up playing with them, being in a band with them.
It's insane. And it's like Forrest Gump or like Big Fish or something.
It's not Forrest Gump because there's no ignorance involved.
I mean, well, maybe.
Wow. Wait, okay, so yeah, I wasn't like super familiar with Wayne Krantz, and then I watched some of his instructional, like some stuff online to kind of try to get behind like some of his concepts. But yeah, he talked about it. He got like tension and release was kind of like his thing. One of what concepts that I was listening to him talk about, and the 5-7-1 concept. Okay, so yeah, so you're studying Wayne Krantz, and he was like selling bootlegs on his website too, right? And then you were so into it that you started flying to New York to go to the 50.
Me and my best buddy Carter Arrington, amazing guitar player from Austin.
Yeah.
We made our pilgrimage finally. And we stayed at our friends in Brooklyn's house, our apartment. Had a time of our life, man. We're mid-20s, early 20s in New York City. Back then, 55 bars was raging, the city was raging. such an insane time.
It's gotta be right. It's gotta be perfect. Gotta be right.